Hi there, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, and back to another special lesson all about reaching advanced English. And today we're going to look at the question, when is it time to get help reaching advanced English? And if you want to activate the subtitles for this video, go ahead and click the little CC icon down at the bottom of the screen. So today we're going to look at the challenges that you face when you're trying to level up your English alone. You know, when you're trying to get that, final 20 to 30% to get from intermediate to advanced, that last part, it's always the hardest to do because you're going to meet some challenges. And we talked about these in an earlier lesson. You're going to have that challenge of avoiding excuses and really making the time to, do the work that's necessary to get from intermediate to advanced. You're going to feel stuck and frustrated, and you might want even to give up because you get to the point where you don't know what's wrong. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to improve to get that advanced level. And that's really frustrating because maybe you're spending a lot of time doing things in English, but you're not really seeing any results. And of course, that other challenge is just that there are so many options out there on the internet, maybe in your city, apps, books, courses, programs, free websites, paid websites. There's a lot of choices out there. So sometimes we don't know which one we need, and then we just don't make a choice at all. We don't do anything. And when you are alone and you're facing these big challenges, it's much easier to just do nothing and to abandon your project than to really take the time necessary to figure out a solution. And when that happens, you experience this feeling of inertia, like you're just not moving forward. You don't know what to do, so you do nothing. And then you feel frustrated because you know that you need to improve. You know that you want to improve. You're motivated. You've got good reasons for doing it, but just nothing's happening. And, that's just a really painful feeling, whether it's languages or anything else. And if that's where you're at today, if you are in this, feeling of inertia and frustration, that is when it's the time to reach out and to get help from someone. This way, you don't limit yourself to the things that you can do alone, and you don't say, well, I can't do it because I don't have time. I can't do it because I don't know how to do it, or I can't do it because I don't know what I should do. And we transform all of that to I can do it because I have someone who is helping me and guiding me and telling me exactly what I need to do to reach my goals. So let's take a minute and let's talk a little bit about accountability. And if you don't know this word, don't worry, we're going to talk about the definition of it. Now, as you know, I am an entrepreneur. I have my own business and everything. So I read a lot about, what it takes to build a business and to manage your time and to find time to do things. And I found this article on Forbes, The Secret to Every Entrepreneur's Success, Accountability. And I read this article and I realized that if you replace the word entrepreneur with language learner, it's exactly the same thing. And you can Google this article, go and read it. I encourage you to read it and maybe read it from the perspective of a language learner. The secret to every language learner's success is accountability, because it's a lot of the same lessons that could apply to your life. So, what is accountability exactly? It's having someone who supports you in your transformation, like actively supports you, not just your friends and family who are like, yeah, that's a good idea. No, it's much more concrete and much more hands-on. And it's having someone who makes sure that you do the work that you need to do to reach your objectives. They check on you. They ask, what have you done? Okay, you didn't do it. Why not? How can we fix that so it doesn't happen the next time? And they really make sure that you do what you need to do to reach your goals. It's having someone who counts on you to show up and do it. And this could be to show up, like to come to your coaching session, to come to your individual lesson, to come to your conversation practice session. But someone who is like waiting for you and looking for you. And when you don't come, they say, hey, where were you? We missed you. Let me know. Let's get together. Let's make this happen. And they won't let you find excuses. They will make sure that you do it. Because sometimes it's easier to say, oh, I can't do it because, I don't know, I'm busy, I'm tired, whatever. But if you have someone who says, oh, come on, you can do it. It's just 30 minutes. It's just 1 hour. You're like, yeah, you're right. Okay, let me go and do it. And then you feel really proud of yourself after because you did it. It's having someone who pushes you to reach your goals and helps you to stay motivated and focused. Again, just going back to that idea of not letting you give up easily, not letting you abandon your project, but reminding you what you are trying to get and reminding you to stay focused, to do the work that you need to do to move you closer to your goal in the most efficient way possible. And this way you finally level up your English from intermediate to advanced because you don't let yourself abandon your objective. And you've got people who are there to support you and to help you reach that objective. And in English, we call that they hold you accountable. So you have a coach who holds you accountable, a teacher who holds you accountable, classmates who hold you accountable, and who make sure that you do the work you need to do to transform your English. And in the Master Real American English program, you've already seen an introduction to this program, and accountability is a big part of this program as well, because we are there to help you reach your goals. And this is what some of the past students said about this aspect of the program. This is one student, it's Joanna. She's a doctor who lives in the U.S. And she said, I had the motivation to improve, but I didn't know how or where to start. And the program was really important for that. With the group, I realized I'm not alone, and that's important. Now I know what to do to continue improving, and I'm confident about the future. There's definitely a before and after. And of course, that's thanks to the program, but it's also thanks to all of the support that comes from the team and the classmates that you work with in this program. Then Aisha, who is a professor, also she's based in the U.S., she says, I knew what I should do to improve my English, but this program forced me to do it all, to take time. I had to think about my goals and take time to prepare each lesson. I did the work because I wanted to see the results and get the most out of each session. So again, it's like you have a session that's coming up. You know that your coach is going to ask you, what have you done? Tell me about your progress. So you take the time to do it because you don't want to be that one student who comes to class and says, oh, I didn't have time and I was busy, because all the other students, they're busy, but they took the time. So it really almost forces you to do it. So, if you feel stuck and you don't know how to move to the next level, and if you always feel like you don't have time or you don't take the time to do it, if you're lost with all of the resources available and you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, and you need support and accountability to help you to reach your goals, then, like I said, we will hold you accountable in the Master Real American English program. We will make sure that you move up from intermediate to advanced English. Now, as you may have seen, the Master Real American English program, it's a 3-month virtual immersion program. You work with your coach, who is there in our WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group, who's there to help you, to support you. You work with your classmates. This is a very good example of accountability. Serial, who's like, sorry, I can't participate today. I have to work on my house. And his classmates were like, oh, come on, join us now. It's just 1 hour. And guess what? Serial took a break from working on his house. He came to a session and he did his English when he thought it wasn't possible, but it was. You've got conversation partners. So like in this example, Eva reaches out to Ednaldo and says, sorry we missed you in the session. I understand your situation. I have the same thing. Here's what we talked about. And if you want, let's connect and let's practice conversation since you missed that session. So, even if you're absent, you can still get some work and some practice opportunities thanks to your partners. And of course, your teacher, who is also there to help you clarify and correct, all of those confusing points in English, like prepositions, help you with your writing, your speaking skills, that kind of thing. But your teacher is there to hold you accountable and make sure that you improve the correctness of your English. So, when you get into a program like this and you have all of these people who are supporting you and holding you accountable, what happens when you stick with the program, when you stay dedicated to that program for 3 months, like this program? Well, actually, it starts in as little as 3 days, because when you start just after 3 days, maybe you realize the big difference between written English and spoken English. And you have this little aha moment. And this is what one student actually told me when they started the course. Like, I've just started and I've just realized that. And then you start using both natural learning to train your ear and deliberate lessons so you don't waste time. And we talked about the difference between natural learning and deliberate learning back in one of the earlier lessons. So you may want to go back and review that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But basically it's, absorbing the language, just picking it up and, actually studying the language and working on it. So you start to use both in a very conscious way to really attack your English from different angles. And then also, you already start to clearly recognize common phrases that you always hear, like, so what'd you do? And I don't know, because you're working in the online course, Understand Real American English, but also maybe you're working already with your teacher and your coach. Then, after 3 weeks in the program, already you're starting to feel more confident about listening and speaking. But maybe you've also realized that you really need to improve on, for example, your ability to make small talk with foreign colleagues. But the important thing is that you're realizing what you're lacking specifically in your English. So you ask your teacher for advice and exercises to help you improve that specific point that you know that you need help with. And you start to practice, again, sometimes deliberate practice with your teacher, sometimes more informal, natural conversations with your classmates or your conversation partners. And then you continue that all along the program. And after 3 months, this idea of virtual immersion, it's just part of your daily life. You're not just studying or learning English, you are actually living English. And you've forgotten how you felt before. You forgot what it's like to feel totally blocked, because in your conversations, you sound and you feel more confident. You're less worried about mistakes. This is a big thing that a lot of students have said. They said, I know I'm still making mistakes, but I also know that I can have a very good conversation, and that gives me so much more confidence that I practice more, I do more, and so I improve more. And because you'll see, as the other students have seen, that native speakers and, non-native speakers also, they're really not listening for the perfection of your English. If they can understand you, most of the time they can, that's what communication is all about. So you know that you're still learning, but your colleagues began to take you more seriously because you started using more natural expressions, more colloquial expressions, the same language that they use too. And you literally speak their language, and it's already leading to better relationships in your career. And then in the long term, if you continue to stick with it, you'll realize that, you're still not absolutely bilingual. And that's totally fine. You don't have to be bilingual. You don't have to be perfect. But you realize that you don't stop every 10 words to think of what you want to say next. Your conversation is much more fluid. You never thought that this day would arrive, but now you think in English, and people compliment you on your good level of English, and you also feel that it's justified. Because sometimes people say, oh, you have such good English, and in your head you're like, yeah, they're just being polite. But now you feel like, yeah, you know what, I do. And like I said, you get a lot of results that go beyond just your English. You're getting deeper relationships, both business relationships and personal relationships. You're getting better career prospects, better financial situation, and of course that personal satisfaction of, hey, I did it. And in this program, my team of teachers and we are here to support you through the program, to hold you accountable, to push you to reach your goals. So, if you would like our help and our support in the Master Real American English program, applications are officially open for this program until Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. It is a live program. You're working with a teacher and a coach, so we're selecting a small number of students to participate, which is why you must apply in order to join. And if you want to apply, you can go to the address that is on the screen, and I'll put the link below the video also so that you can apply and perhaps join us in this program. All right, that's the end of this lesson about, when is it time to get help? If it is your time to get help, apply for the course and we will see how we can help you. And in the next lesson, we're going to look at the rewards that you'll get. What is waiting for you after you get from intermediate to advanced level of English with Master Real American English. All right, thanks a lot, and I will see you next time.